what's up, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of Hoeology Podcast. This is your host, Destiny. I'm sure you're wondering by the title, why is it spicy? What the hell is this episode about? This episode is going to be for my guys. I want to teach you guys how to get so much pussy, so much head that you can't stand. I want you to get the type of head that you deserve. The gwak 5,000. We retired the 3,000. Let's get the 5,000 going. I want your toes to curl. I want your nuts to be just exquisite, gulped, slurped, deep throat swallowed, all of that. I'm going to teach you how. This episode is all about your sexual health. I took some time, I did some research, and it's actually a lot of things that even I didn't know. And I am generally interested in reproductive health and sciences. But some of these things you might already know, some of them you might not know, and that's okay. But I guarantee you this, when you have amazing health, especially sexual health, you become better sexual partners, and better sexual partners always get top tier pussy, the best head you can possibly give. Speaking as a woman, I can say that when I have a guy that is super clean, he has really good health, I want to swallow. I want him to nut in me because I'm not worried that my pH is going to be thrown off. And I'm not worried that it's going to taste disgusting. So let's jump straight in. If you're new to Hoeology, welcome. We always start off our episodes with a tweet of the week. Today's tweet of the week says, "Nut be tasting like battery acid. Men's hygiene sucks." Now, our tweet of the week is a generalization pretty much, but I do think there is some room for improvement on both men and women's hygienes. And since I've already done an episode on women's hygiene called Cleanse the Coochie, today's episode is all about my guys. I know a lot of these episodes, my guys may feel like I'm attacking them or generalizing them, but this episode is all about how to actually improve your health so that you can get what you deserve, which is high quality, high value pussy. The first thing we're going to start off with, arguably the most important, is your diet. Your diet affects everything. It affects how your skin reacts. It affects how your mood may be. And it definitely affects how your sperm tastes. Everyone always wants to talk about, oh, swallow this, gulp it down, gobble me, swallow me, blah, blah, blah. But are we really thinking about what that tastes like? I know for a lot of guys, when they go down on girls, there have been comments about, it tasting like pennies if she's on her period, super salty in the experience that I've had with the girl. It can also taste like tart. Sometimes it doesn't have a taste, like water. And that all can be attributed to your health and mostly your diet. If you intake a lot of salt, you're going to have a salty excrete when you are coming or when you're pushing something out of you. Since women have technically three holes, we have our vagina, we have our urethra, and then we have our anus. We have three different holes to be worried about the different types of smells coming out. Men have two. Their pee and their sperm come out of the same hole. So you can imagine that if you're eating something that's strong or very earthy, you're going to taste that. There's no way to separate that. So here are 5 diet tips for better tasting sperm. First, have a consistent water intake. I'm not going to get on here and tell my fellas to be drinking gallons of water every day. That's unrealistic. Nobody, unless you're an athlete or just really love water, drinks gallons of water a day. But the key is to have a consistent water intake. If you're going to drink 1 glass of water, keep drinking the glasses of water back to back. If you're going to drink juice, have maybe 2 glasses of water for every 1 glass of juice that you have, or soda or whatever. But make sure your water intake is consistent. Ironically, when I dated an athlete, I noticed that he had a lot of water intake. I mean, he was one of the people that drank jugs of waters every day, but it was very consistent. There was not a time that he did not have water in his hand. And let me just say, his nut was amazing. If you remember back on the dick appointment etiquette episode, I mentioned I really don't even like sucking dick because we'll get into that later, but I liked doing it to him and I liked swallowing for him because he tasted good. And I would definitely attribute that to his diet and water intake. Tip number 2 for better tasting sperm is to eat vegetables and fruits regularly. And one way to combine this with the first tip is trying infused water like coconut water. Personally, to me, coconut water tastes disgusting and I can barely drink it, but if you have a palate for that, why not? Tip number 3, stay away from garlic, asparagus, and onions before sex. We've all had asparagus and then peed and then had to look in the toilet like, did I also pee out the asparagus? Actually, yes, you did. Onions, garlic, and asparagus have a very potent smell when it is time for it being like filtered and excreted out. So just stay away from those during sex and you shouldn't have any issues with smelly nut, smelly pee, any of that. Tip number 4 is something that I actually did not know. When you eat alkaline-based foods, it actually gives your sperm a buttery flavor, while acidic foods like oranges or grapefruit give your sperm a sweet flavor. We all know about pineapples, of course, but I guess I didn't know that alkaline part giving your sperm a buttery taste. Like, I don't want to swallow globs of butter, so stick with the acidic foods. Our final tip is something that I actually did know, which was that dairy products produced foul-tasting semen because it's high in rotting bacteria properties. When you're sick and they tell you like don't drink milk, or when you've just had surgery and it's like an open wound in your mouth or something and they say don't drink any milk or have any dairy products, it's because dairy produces inflammation in the body. So I can only imagine that the rotting bacteria that's in milk and then being excreted out through your sperm is not going to taste great, especially because it's already rotting in the milk and then it's traveling through your body mixed with other things and then being excreted out. Like, that just sounds disgusting. So I'd say your best bet is to just stay away from milk altogether or dairy products if you're going to be having sex anytime soon or if you plan on getting head. Of course, you can have the best diet in the world, but if your hygiene does not match those dietary standards that you're holding for yourself, then there's a chance that you still won't reach that peak level of just overall sexual yumminess. So, I have 5 hygiene tips for you guys. Some of these, of course, we knew as women because they affect us directly, and some of these I didn't actually know. So, let's get into it. First up, and I know a lot of men that probably don't know this one, multi-use soaps and shampoos are not your friend. Neither are overly scented soaps. The perfumes actually seep into your skin and they can transfer to your partner, like herpes. And perfume plus like an internal vagina is what causes us to have a fishy smell, aka bacterial vaginosis or BV. So when you use like Old Spice and then you go to have sex with someone, it's essentially like spraying perfume inside of her vagina. It is very, very bad for our vagina, and it's actually bad for your skin as well. It's overly drying. It can cause just nasty smells. You got to think, you're mixing your natural pheromones, which is your natural smell, with a fake smell, which is the perfume. Sometimes those don't mix. It's like when you have deodorant, like we've all tried a deodorant that didn't mix with our body smell. And that's what produces like the mustiness or just the stench. It doesn't mix with your natural smells. Also, those 3-in-1 shampoos or 2-in-1, no. Y'all love to come into our bathroom or your girlfriend's bathroom and use up all her hair products and then use a 2-for-1 for your own hair. If you like our products so much, go get some. They're not exclusive to women's hair. All head hair is head hair. Get you some nice real shampoo and then get you some nice real conditioner. If you have curly hair, get you some curl moisturizing conditioner or some deep conditioner. It's okay. No one's going to think anything about it. I promise. The second hygiene tip comes actually from Men's Health. Be careful when manscaping or trimming. Did you know that bald skin can leave room for ingrown hairs, skin irritation, and dryness, and can eventually trap dirt and push it under the skin? This can lead to infections. So make sure you lightly moisturize the area after shaving and try to avoid oils. I knew about ingrown hairs, but I didn't know that it could lead to skin irritation and dryness for you guys when you're manscaping. Just like the skin on your face when you shave and it's like super dry and you hurry up and put moisturizer on it. You don't want to put something oily because that's going to just trap whatever's there. So you want to do like a light moisturizer, maybe a sunscreen on your face. But when you're manscaping, you don't want that skin to get dry either. And I know it's easy for like hair bumps, which is what ingrown hairs are pretty much, to cause like pus and like be red and filled with blood. So just be careful when you're manscaping. And if you're going to go for the completely bald look, maybe look into waxing. Women have the same issue. I know I used to shave. I had to stop that because of ingrown hairs. I tried waxing. I would still get ingrown hairs. And now I do laser, which is 100% hair removal. And I have no ingrown hairs, no skin discoloration, which I know guys suffer with that too. But look into laser or waxing if you have a lot of issues with ingrown hairs or hair getting trapped under your skin. My third hygiene tip is, while we love a spontaneous hookup, make sure to wash your hands before you have sex and try to shower if you can. I know it's like one of those things where you're in the moment, you're kissing, and then shit just goes, but dirt on the fingernails and sweat on your penis does not belong inside of a woman's vagina or a man's anus, or someone's mouth. It's gross. I don't think you guys understand how much regular just bacteria and dirt lives on our hands. I mean, even before the age of COVID, people would just be working all day, come home, have sex, the same hands that you were touching staplers with that everyone in the office has touched, and the same hands that you were touching your steering wheel with that you probably picked a booger or two and put on there, are now inside of someone. That is how my brain works when I think about cleanliness during and before sex. So if you can, wash your hands when you get in. If you know you're feeling frisky and you know you're feeling horny, wash your hands. Hurry up, take a quick shower, take a whole bath if you can. Just wash your dick, balls, whatever, and be done with it. Same for ladies, of course, but this episode ain't for y'all. For my third hygiene tip, listen please and listen close. It is not gay to wash the crack of your ass or your gooch. Letting the soapy water run down is also not enough. And that was for my white people that listen. No. The amount of bacteria that builds up near your rectum, especially if you have a hairy ass, is dangerous. And it causes musty smells to emit from there. And yes, we can smell your ass when we're giving you head. And it's going in the group chat, and we're going to make fun of you and never give you head again. Never fuck you again. We're going to know. Just like y'all put in the group chat, oh, her pussy was fishy, or oh, she stank, or whatever. You're going in the group chat if you have a musty, stinky butthole that then travels when I'm giving you head. I know some guys probably listening there are guys out there that don't wash their ass. Yes, there are guys out there that don't use rags, that don't use loofahs. They just use their hand and assume that that's enough. It ain't enough. Please. And one way to help so that you maybe, if you're super just afraid of washing your ass, no finger needs to go inside your ass, but Jesus Christ, wash your butt crack. Please. Scrub it. But you can use baby wipes. Use baby wipes when you go to the bathroom and go number 2. Then you know that you don't have much to worry about when you're washing your ass in the shower. But if you think washing your ass and baby wipes are gay, you might be gay for real because you're worried about being gay, and that is not what being gay is. So please, fellas, please, we're begging you. We're begging you. Wash your ass. Wash it. Tip number 5 actually goes hand in hand with washing your ass. For my guys that are clean and use actually a loofah or a scrubby, make sure that you're changing them out at least every 3 weeks. I mean, they're only like $1. Some of them you can buy in like 2 packs or whatever. Make sure you're changing those out frequently. And washcloths, if you're going to use those, should definitely be changed weekly, if not bi-weekly. Make sure that the rag that you're using for your face is not the same rag that you're using on your body. Different bacteria, different rag. You don't want to use something that you just washed your dick with after having sex on your face. Like, that's just a no. But yeah, just make sure you change your rags out, change your loofahs out, and you'll be good to go. Those things can trap a lot of bacteria. There's no way to like really rinse them, unlike washcloths where you can, put like a deodorizer or put like a oxy cleaner in your laundry detergent to take out that like bacteria. Loofahs, you can't really do that. You don't want to soak those in like bleach or something because it's going on your skin and it's impossible to rinse it all the way out. So those are my 5 hygiene tips for men and the 5 diet tips for better tasting sperm. To leave you all, I'm gonna give you 5 did you knows that I found when I was doing my research for this episode. Hopefully some of these will cause you to take your reproductive health more seriously. Number 1, did you know that a lack of flossing can later lead to erectile dysfunction? I have exclusively in my personal life worked in healthcare, so I knew that like our oral health affected a lot more than people understand, especially like if you have a tooth infection, for example, if it gets into your bloodstream, you can actually die from that. That's why before any like major surgeries, they ask like, have you had any mouth infections? Do you have any open sores in your mouth? Because our oral health literally can kill you if it's not properly managed. But apparently it can kill your dick too. Number 2, did you know that smoking of any kind lowers your sperm count? So cigarettes and weed. Sperm from smokers have decreased motility, can be deformed, and internally damaged. That is actually insane. I knew that smoking lowered your sperm count, but I didn't know that it can make your sperm deformed. Number 5, did you know the male equivalent of a gynecologist is a urologist? This is a doctor who specializes in sexual and reproductive health specifically for men. I actually knew this fact because I wanted to be a urologist once upon a time because I felt like enough men didn't care or know about their reproductive and sexual health. And if you're having any issues like with your dick or balls, it's okay to go to your primary doctor, but they're nowhere near as trained in the specialty of sexual and reproductive health like a urologist is. So they might either under-prescribe or over-prescribe or overlook the real issue. Number 4, did you know for many STDs, men rarely have symptoms? Always ask when you're getting tested for a blood test. Untreated and repeated STDs like chlamydia, gonorrhea can actually become resistant to medication after time. So if you do happen to get an STD, make sure you finish all of your medicine and abstain from sex while treating that STD. Because let's say you have chlamydia and your doctor prescribes the antibiotic for it, and then you go and have sex, you are potentially mutating that version of chlamydia. Even if you have sex with the same person that like gave it to you or you gave it to, like let's say you both have it, then you're potentially creating like a mutant strain, which is essentially what happened with COVID. Like COVID was fine, but then it just kept mutating and mutating, and that's when you have like the Omicron variant and the Delta variant. Like those are just mutated forms. So the same can happen with STDs. So just be very careful, make sure you finish your medication, and always ask for a blood test. A urine test is not going to tell you if you have HIV. It's not going to tell you if you have herpes type 1 or 2. It's not going to tell you if you have syphilis. Urine tests pretty much tell you chlamydia and gonorrhea and maybe a yeast infection. And yes, men, you can get yeast infections too. My last did you know is actually my favorite. Did you know in the last few years there have been over a 50% increase in vasectomies? They have a 99% effective rate at preventing pregnancy. They are reversible, and are rated the most effective birth control. There's no hormones involved. There's no crazy reactions involved. Vasectomies are quick. You're in and out in about 20 minutes. There's little to no downtime. And again, it's reversible. I actually have 2 friends that have gotten vasectomies and are under the age of 30. So if you are thinking about it, I say go for it. You're more likely to have a better experience than a woman is on birth control. So yeah. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I truly only want the best for my guys out there, especially my healthy kings with healthy diets. You guys deserve the best. And maybe if you learned something from this episode, you can become one of those healthy kings that deserves the best. As always, thank you for listening. Follow the Instagram at Hoeology Pod, and we'll talk later. Happy hoeing.